All right, so now I'm going to go over the Visual Studio Code interface. You should be at this welcome page or a blank page, and you'll see a toolbar on the left-hand side. And so this top icon opens up what folder you are working with. And so I'll open up a new window so you can see what it looks like for you. You'll see this open folder button. And so go ahead and click that and open a folder to work with. And so in general, any programs you have in a folder will only be able to access other files that are in that folder. So whenever you're doing an import or an export, you want to have every file in the same folder. But I'll talk about that more in the import-export video. You can ignore most of these tabs. The extensions you saw in the previous video, that's just to install any modules you need that are external. The most important tab here is the Run and Debug tab. And so that's going to be what executes a file that you have open. And so I will demonstrate that now. So once you have this folder open, the next task is to create a file. So that's up in File, New File. And by default, Visual Studio Code creates a text file. And so we need to tell the program that it needs to interpret the file as Python. And so go to File, Save As, enter a name, and then for format, go down and select Python. And so on Windows, it will format it as a .py file. On Mac, it default formats as a GYP file. And so we need to change that. Just hit backspace and type in py. And then hit save, and that will tell the program to interpret this as Python. When you hit run and debug, what it does is it runs whatever function is the main function in your file. And so the first thing you need to do is define that main function. So you do that with the def, the def keyword. So you define a function with a name right after it, and then open parentheses, close parentheses, and then colon. And so this is the general syntax for defining a function. It's just define, def, function name, open, close parenthesis. And so hit enter, and it will automatically indent. The way that Python groups code is by the indenting. So you have to, if it doesn't, hit tab and indent all the code equally. I'm just going to make the main function of this file output the word test. Any printed text or error messages upon running your code will show up down here in the terminal. You'll see that in a moment. And so in order to tell the interpreter to execute main when the file is run, you need a little bit of weird syntax down at the bottom. So that's if underscore underscore name underscore underscore double equals quotes underscore underscore main underscore underscore. And so this is what tells the file that upon running the file as a whole, it should execute whatever is in this code block. And so this again needs to be indented, but you're going to put main here and make sure you remember the parentheses. And so that is going to call the main function when this file is run, and I'll show that now. So to run it, you click Run and Debug, click Python file, and then you see down here the result test came out. And so I'll show you what happens if there's a syntax error. So I'll just enter some random text there. And it shows up down here with the error. And just so you guys can see, when there's a weird indentation, it won't know what to do. It won't know that this is part of this function. And so that's also going to result in an error. All right, so that should conclude the user interface for Visual Studio Code.